Welcome to Earth 1119, Weather Hazards and Preparedness. My name is Paul Servatka, and I'll be your instructor this semester. Some of you may be watching this and will be being taught by another instructor, but you'll be seeing my videos and instructions. So if that's one of you, welcome. Right now, I would like to go through some of the things that will help you be successful in this course and to make sure that you start it very efficiently and you know exactly what you're going to need to know. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and as I do so, I'm going to look at the course that we have got. I'm looking at my current courses. For me, at least, it's going to be one of these two 1119. So if you're in either of my two sections, either one is fine. And you'll see over here on the left side some announcements. You'll see syllabus and schedule, assignments, lecture quizzes, med-ed quizzes, final research project, tests, CC lectures. For those of you who may need some extra help understanding what's being said in the videos, these are going to be closed captions, and you should be able to do that with everyone except this lesson. Then we have a discussion board, which we probably won't be using much, and then your grades, etc. So let's start with the syllabus and schedule. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the syllabus. So go ahead and open that up. And I just want to start out by saying this lecture, I'm going to have some things that you'll be quizzed on. But if you take good notes on this and write down the things that I want you to write down, you can submit that and get extra credit to start the term. So first thing is take out whatever you're writing on, whether it's handwritten notes or something on a computer, write your name, tell me where you're from, and more importantly, why did you take this course? Just write a little sentence about why you're taking this specific course, okay? And you can pause this video and go ahead and do that, and that will be the way we start the notes. Okay, so here's the course. It's 3 credit hours. It's summer. So I'm going to warn you right from the beginning, this is a 3 credit hour course. I expect about 9 hours of work per week in a normal semester, but because this is twice as fast, you're looking at about 15 to 18 hours of work per week. So make sure you have that time in order to get this course done in a very short area of 8 weeks, okay? I'd like you to read through the course description. There's no prerequisites. I know a lot of you take that. Now I have office hours listed here. Pretty much if you need to talk to me, you're probably going to write me emails, and that will be fine. If you want to meet on Zoom, I'll probably be available most of these times, or I can find other times that might be available. You and I can meet on Zoom and deal with things on a one-to-one basis, or you can come on in and see me. Just let me know when you're going to come in. My email is servatka@cud.edu. If you're taking another course, you might want to make sure you know your teacher's email address on the syllabus. And then there's the weather text page. A lot of times I'm going to be referencing this page. So if you go ahead and click on this, you can open the link and you'll see that it goes to here, which is our experimental text. And we have hazards. That's going to be kind of the big one that you want to look at. We're going to be talking about all these different hazards. And over here, there's a little legend about what they are, whether they're for fire weather or for winter weather. Hopefully we won't have any over the summer. Or for marine or tropical. As we're end of the term, we might start seeing some tropical situations. Hydrology, meaning something to do with water, flooding. Non-precipitation, maybe it's going to be fog or smoke or something along those ways. Lots of things, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, etc. You can kind of play with this. There's the National Weather Service, NWS. Go ahead and write that down. NWS, WFO. Over here, you see on the left, that's the National Weather Service. WFO stands for Weather Forecast Office. So these are our local weather service. This is where we're going to get most of our information. So I'm hovering over the Chicago area, if that's where you're from, and that will bring you into all of the stuff out of Romeoville, and you'll see stuff on here. If it says hazardous, there's some air quality advisories, red flag warnings. These are all a little bit older, but the one that we're going to look at is this HWO, Hazardous Weather Outlook. Hazardous weather outlook is something we're going to reference in this class the entire semester. So write that down. HWO is hazardous weather outlook. And it tells you what are our thoughts for the next week around here in terms of any sort of hazardous weather, whether it's heavy rain or tornadoes or flooding, something like that. Okay, so if I reference this page, that's where it's going to be. Now let's go back to the syllabus. There is no text. We have this, meded.ucar.edu. If you click on that link, that'll take you to a site. I'll go ahead and do that with you. And in here, this is where you're going to sign up if you want to just be able to access all of this information. It is totally free. You don't have to send your scores to anybody. We're going to be doing something different. But this is where your reading and all of your information is going to be here. There's going to be MET-Ed assignments based on these modules. There's going to be MET-Ed quizzes that you'll take off of Blackboard. We'll explain in a little bit. But basically what we're talking about is this is where all of your information is going to be available to you. And it is free. So we try to keep the cost of a textbook down. And this is MET-Ed, stands for Meteorological Education. So I think this is a great place to go. So you'll sign up for that, fill in your information. You can use whatever email address you want, and that will be terrific. Okay? Now, additional materials, you don't need anything, but here's the deal. When you turn in your assignments, they must be in doc, docx, or PDF format only. So write that down. I want to make sure you have this written as notes. When you have it in doc, docx, or PDF. I cannot read pages files. Those are some Mac or Apple formats. And I don't want to see stuff in JPEGs. It becomes really annoying to try to open up single images. So combine everything into a Word document or a Google Docs document or a PDF file, okay? Then here's grading. Here's what we're going to be doing. Oops, get rid of that. We're going to have the MET-Ed quizzes. You're going to have worksheets and assignments. You're going to have lecture quizzes. You're going to have research project. That's about 15, 18% of your grade. We'll talk about that very, very detailed in a few minutes. And then we have tests. And we'll be talking about the tests a little bit here. And that's about 40% of your grade. Now, generally speaking, the grades are about straight scale. I do dip down to make sure you pass. And sometimes people might get 89, maybe 88.5%. If I feel like they've done a really good job at trying and getting all of their work done, I'll probably bump that grade up. And I know all the other instructors of Earth 1119 do the same. All work has to be completed. If you stop attending, you have to withdraw. The drop dead date for withdrawal is Saturday, July 6th. For the first 8 weeks. If you're in the second 8 weeks, it's going to be a couple of weeks after that. Now, something that I'm implementing here is I'm going to give you a 1-week grace period for assignments. I know life gets in the way sometimes and people get a little bit behind and they need a couple of extra days to catch up. So all of my assignments have a due date and you can have up to a week afterward and turn that in and there'll be no penalty against you. However, if you start getting in longer than that, you're going to get a 0 because you cannot fall that far behind. You might as well drop. So the idea is this: 1 week penalty. Try to get it done on time. That's going to be good for you. But if you need to make up and finish up some stuff, you have an extra week. After that, it becomes a 0, and then that's it. So write that or copy this down. You have a week grace period. I wish you didn't use it, but it's okay if you have to. But after the week, it goes to a 0. Okay, you're not going to want to take this course on a pass-fail basis because you need it for probably your gen eds. Okay, here's some course objectives and additional class objectives. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video for a second and just read them so you know what we're going to be talking about. And then what I want you to do is write down what objective out of these 11 is most interesting to you. Just write down the objective and say, maybe why you think that. Oh, I really like to know how things work. So number 7 is good for you. Something along those lines. Okay, read through the course summary. It talks about how the natural world affects us in our society, and the weather is paramount to that. It's so important. Everybody cares about what's happening in the weather. And what I'm seeing is that people have no idea what the weather is. They use their phone and they've got a little app. And when you have your app going, it says it's going to rain tomorrow. And you don't know anything about what that means, whether there's going to be thunderstorms or severe weather, or if it's going to rain all day or just for a few hours in the evening. So people are not learning and knowing as much about the weather as maybe they once used to when we watched TV and got weather forecasts. So I'm going to try to bring that into your life and then look at the things that might impact you and your family or your friends or even when you're in a business. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, let's talk about the expectations. I said about 15 hours a week. Probably, it could be a little bit more depending on how efficient you are. Take good time to do it. Give yourself the time to do this class. It's 8 weeks. You get it done pretty quickly. Now, assignments are going to be due weekly on Sunday at 11:59. So you have all week to get week one's work done. Turn it by midnight. Remember, you have that grace period. Hey, hold on a second. Someone is knocking at my door. So hold on. I record. Okay, that was my niece. She came over and she rang the doorbell. So I answered the doorbell. I tell you what, I'll give you an extra point if you put on here that my niece came over. And this makes sure that I know you're listening to everything. So just put recording interrupted by Paul's niece. That would be fun. Okay, back to this. Yeah, so get your work done by midnight. You'll see what it is. I've got test dates on there. The test dates are going to be open for a couple of days that you can, you'll have plenty of time to take the tests, but they are timed. Quizzes are going to be not timed. So you can take as much time as you need for that. If you have access and accommodations, go ahead and just take as long as you need to. I'll know how long it took you. And I'll be able to look at it individually as a person by person basis. So there's no need to worry about that. Okay, if you want to learn how to manage your course dates, look at this one. It's kind of a cool way just to see how things are. I've got another form that's coming up that I'll talk to you about this. We're going to have a FEMA exam. So here's the next thing I'd like you to write down. FEMA, which stands for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And that is what this course is really all about. You can get a certificate from FEMA by taking a test on hazardous weather and community risk. Now, I'm going to be giving you the FEMA final in class. You're going to do it on Blackboard, and it is supposed to be without notes and without anything else. It's the honor system. I hope you're a student of integrity, and you will have a chance to do that. Now, it's pretty straightforward. I went to this test, which is available online. You can go find it and study it and pass it from FEMA. But my test is slightly different. It should be easier because there's some questions on it I didn't think were very good or easy. So I made it even simpler as far as I can tell. Okay, so no outside work during that one test. Every other test you can. Advising, if you have any information that you want to share with me about what's getting in the way of being successful or things that you might need, or if you want to talk about majoring in meteorology or anything else, just let me know and we'll either meet on Zoom or you can come to the college and talk to me. Now, academic integrity. This is super important here. Plagiarism is bad. You probably know that. You cannot take other people's work and claim it as your own. In this age, we are now dealing with AI, and AI can be great and helpful, but you cannot use it to write your paper. When you're doing a project, you have to do your own work. You can use it as like finding out information, and that would be okay, but be very, very careful using AI if you use it at all. The thing that bothers me most is this stuff with Quartz Hero and Chegg. This is unacceptable that people do this. This is ridiculous. All the information to be successful on the worksheets are available in the module by doing your work. It's not like it's not like it's quizzing you and trying to make it hard so I can fail you. I expect everybody to do pretty well on all of these things because the answers are there and you can take as much time you need to go find them. So if I find that any of you doing this, this is going to be highly problematic, I will report you to the dean, and I will also have to give you zeros on your assignments. And I just don't want to deal with any of this. Don't put your material up there. This is not good. This is not sharing tests and helping each other out. This is cheating. Okay. And I take it very seriously. So remember, cheating has penalties up to and including expulsion from COD. This would be something I'd say put in your notes just to make sure you know that. Okay. Class strategy. Set a few times a week to do the class. You know, clear out a couple of hours at a time. Don't try to do it all at once. Read through the module or before you attempt the quiz or the worksheet. So just read through it. You don't have to study it super much. Take notes. If you're doing a lecture, take notes on the lecture. And then when you take the quiz, you can go find where that is. And that would be great. That's okay. Sometimes the modules have more than I need. So the worksheets or the quizzes are there to say, this is what I consider to be really important. Take good notes on these things because when you take the test, you'll be able to access those notes and know what I'm looking for, okay? When you are doing notes from the lecture or whatever, or if you're doing assignments, this paragraph is super important. Please look at that and include as many diagrams, tables, illustrations where they're appropriate. Sometimes it has everything. If I ask you for the basic types of air masses, there's images on, you can Google, you can go online and find them, and just put that diagram in there because that's easiest way to do it. You don't have to write it down, just insert that diagram, okay? Your paper will do a little at a time. I'll show you how that works coming up. And then if you have any problems, feel free to ask questions. So that's the syllabus. And if you have questions, go ahead and email them to me. All right, I'm going to go back to here. And this is the key thing, this assignment schedule. Okay, so this is what is coming due every week. Here's the schedule for my 8-week session. Week 1, it's due June 2nd, which is the Monday of the second week. So you're going to do the lecture, welcome video and class basics. Okay, you're going to turn this in and you get extra points for that. You're going to take a quiz on both lectures, on the welcome video, this one, and the weather basics. The lecture quiz will be over both lectures. This is on Blackboard. I'll show you those later. You'll have a Med-Ed with a Med-Ed quiz. So the Med-Ed, you click on this, it'll take you there. If you click on weather basics, it'll open up where the lecture is. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. There's the lecture. There's my face again with the windmill in the background. Yay, good for that. That's where you're going to get the lecture for the material of the course. That's me teaching you. Okay, lectures, Med-Ed. This one here is sort of the backbone. Remember I told you the FEMA exam? This is the key on the Med-Ed, and it will come with a worksheet and a quiz. So the things on those worksheets and quizzes are super important. That's what you really want to focus on. You'll have access to that. Notes and those worksheets are available for you to use on your test. So get them done before the test, and we're going to be good. Okay? There's week 2. We have lecture, Med-Ed. We have part of the research project that'll come due week by week. Here's the test, put in red. You will have between 8 a.m. on Monday, the 17th of June through 11 p.m. on the 19th of June. It'll cover the first 2 weeks material. So once you start that test, here, write this down because it's important. Once you start the test, you have to complete it. It's timed and it goes. If you get booted from the test, it's going to cause all sorts of problems you don't want to deal with. So make sure you have a good connection. You can come on into COD if you want to use a computer here with a better connection. If yours at home is not so good, let me know of this ahead of time, okay? But start the test, finish the test. Work alone, but you can use any information that you've taken notes on, any worksheet. Sometimes there are assignments, Med-Ed, lecture, it goes on week by week. We have all these things, and I'll show you where you're going to find all of them coming up. Then the next test, more assignments, all these things due. And then we get to the final week where you'll have your last 2 tests, and you should have plenty of time in that final week to study for them and take the test, prepare for it. And if you're a week behind in this material, you'll be able to catch up before you take those tests. Everything must be completed, write this down, by this date. That's the last date you can submit work, and I'll still accept it if it's within a week. After that, the course will be shut down until I get the final grades put together. Okay, that's sort of the drop dead date. I would suggest that maybe you check mark each one of these assignments so you know that you've done what you're supposed to do. And that's how this works. And there's the links to all of these, so take a look at them. Again, if you have problems or questions, write your instructor an email, say, hey, how does this work again? I'll be more than happy, or your other instructor will be more than happy to talk to you. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this. Look over here. It says assignments. So if it says assignments, here it is. Here's introduction to the class. Watch this video. Just click here and everything you need to know will be successful. And then there's another little YouTube video. It's like 3 or 4 minutes long. Take a look at that real quick. Anticipating weather hazards. That's the chapter. There's the file that you're going to be doing this and submitting it here from Blackboard. Wind systems. These are all basically worksheets and some diagrams that you're drawing by hand. Okay. Then you go to lecture quizzes. Here's the lecture, and here's where the quiz at the end of the lecture will be. Again, this is not this is somewhat timed. It's 30 minutes. Man, this should take you no time. It's going to be pretty easy if you've done your note taking. But it's just a way to do this. Again, if it's a little bit longer than this, I think you'll still be able to submit it. It will have to be met my approval. So as long as you're not abusing the time, you'll be fine. Okay? All right, med-ed quizzes. Now, these quizzes are almost exactly the same as on the med-ed site. Med-ed at the end of the module has a quiz. So let me do this. Let me show you right here. I'm going to sign in. There's my stuff. I go in here and I go, let's look at Weather Basics 2008. Okay, and if I do a search on their own website, I think it's supposed to. That's a weird looking. Here we go. A little bit slow today. Okay, Introduction to Meteorology, Weather Basic Processes, this kind of thing. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to here. Watch how I do this. Okay. I'm going to go back to the course, and I'm going to go to syllabus and schedule, and I'm going to go to the schedule. And if you're logged into Med-Ed, I click on this, it should take me to the lecture. If I click on this Med-Ed, as long as I'm logged in, it'll take me right to the situation. And over here on the side, it says quiz. Okay, and the quiz here, here's some of the questions. These, you can do this on Med-Ed, find the answers, and then go take it on Blackboard, because that's where the quizzes matter, is on Blackboard, and you can get all the answers correctly. That's not cheating. That is actually doing your work. That's the purpose of these, is to give you some place to test your knowledge and then to make sure you understand what it is. Okay, when the tests are here, they're available here. They will only be viewable by you during the times I say they're going to be there. So here's the CC, closed captioning lectures, etc. Let's one last thing, and that's the final research project. Super important is to look at this rubric. So right now, what I need you to do is write down for your notes that I need you to, oops, where is that? It came over here. I need you to read this very carefully. And it should open up a Word document or ways that you can open that up. It's opening in protected view, so come on, we're just waiting on this. Here we go. And I give you the whole background of what this project is going to be. Okay, and there's some examples of things you might want to write about. So read through it. Read through it right now and go take a look at what this is going to be about. And let's talk here. You're going to write, I'm going to do this event since the year 2000 in the United States. What big weather event? Not earthquakes. That's not weather. This is meteorological events that have affected the United States since the year 2000. And you're going to say, I want to do this event, and here's why. And it'll talk to you about what do you do as your project summary. That's going to be worth 20 points. So right from the beginning, it'll force you to determine what you're going to do a project on. Then the next week, you're going to find reference. So you'll go find information that you're going to use for your project. And I think I'm asking for like 6 references as a minimum. Now you can start at Wikipedia. I think that's a great place to start. You cannot use Wikipedia as the reference, but they have papers in their own references that you can use. So use that as a background for yourself, but then go find the actual reference. So write this down in the notes. Do not use Wikipedia directly, but use it to lead you to other good information. And you can use anything else beyond that too. A couple of weeks later, you're going to write a 1,200 word, that's about 4 or 5 pages, where you're going to talk about the weather of the event. So you're going to describe what led to that event. By that point, you'll know about what you need to know. And then you're just going to kind of have diagrams and pictures and talk about what causes thunderstorms. And it'll give you an opportunity to do this. Now, I would prefer this on Doc or DocX, but you could turn it in as PDF as well. So I think I say something that needs to be Doc or DocX. Let's see if we can do PDFs as well. But make sure you include diagrams, and neatness matters. There's a rubric for grading the paper and the project. Another week later, you're going to talk about the information, because we're going to be talking about watches and warnings and advisories and forecasts. So now you're going to tell me, what did the Weather Service do? Were they issuing warnings? Were they giving information to the people? Were their forecasts good? That's going to be a little bit shorter, around 800 words. And then the final project will be, what are the impacts and the lessons learned? Okay, and that's where you can really write about personal stories. Maybe you picked an event that affected you personally or somebody in your family. Maybe you're going to say, wow, this was amazing, and this is how many people got hurt, and this is some family story. Whatever you want to do, that's sort of the narrative of how weather affects humans, and that's what I want you to do. So each part of the project has a discussion on what you're going to be turning in, how much it's worth, and then you're going to turn in each part. Rather than putting it all together as to one huge term paper, I'm going to break it out so you have an opportunity to do it over the summer, little by little. Okay? You can start as soon as you want. You can try to do it as much as you can. But for now, this is the idea of where you need to be. And this way, if you stay with the schedule, you're going to be fine. I'm going to stop the share for a second. Okay, guys, so here's something that you have to understand. This course is a lot of work, but it's meant that if you do all of the work, you're going to pass the class. I've given D's and F's, and most of the time they come because I have a bunch of zeros that get put in there. It's 1,400 points altogether, and you just need to get points, okay? 0 is not a good way to do that. So do all of your work and you're going to pass the class. Understand material pretty decently and you could get a B if you work really hard and take the time. To get an A, you got to show me that you really know stuff. But that's the way I think about it. A's are for outstanding students who do hard work and understand things. B's are for people who are good students at working. C's the people who are just trying to get through their degree. D's and F's mean that you're not doing everything as you should. Okay? So that's the welcome to the class. Go ahead and take your document and submit that to me. And then I'll give you some extra credit to start the semester just right. This course will be open to you, so go ahead and get things done, and I hope that you're successful. If you have any problems, reach out to me or reach out to your instructor if you're with another teacher. Um, and I wish you the very best. Talk to you later.